In a noisy world, silence is rebellion. A quiet man is dangerous because no one knows what he's thinking. And in a society obsessed with instant reactions, those who pause, those who think, those who stay silent, they hold the true power. Stoic men knew this. They didn't shout to prove a point. They didn't beg to be heard. They chose silence, because not every truth needs to be spoken. Not every insult deserves a response. Today, we break down why silence isn't weakness, it's a weapon, and how mastering silence can give you an edge in conflict, relationships, and self-control. Let's begin. 1. Silence disarms the enemy. When someone insults you, they don't just throw words, they throw bait. And the moment you react with anger or defense, you've already lost. Because now, you're playing their game, on their terms, and your energy becomes their entertainment. But silence breaks the rules. It offers no reward. It doesn't feed their ego. It creates a mirror, forcing them to hear their own cruelty echoed back with no response. That emptiness? It's uncomfortable. And in that discomfort, they begin to question themselves. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." To stay silent is not to submit. It is to rise above, to show that your peace cannot be purchased by provocation, that your worth does not require defense. Your silence says, "I don't need to prove myself to someone beneath my standards." And that drives them mad. 2. Silence makes you unreadable. A loud man is predictable. You compliment him, he smiles. You insult him, he explodes. You challenge him, he explains himself to exhaustion. But a silent man, he unsettles people, because silence is mystery, and mystery is power. People don't fear what they see. They fear what they can't read. When you say little, they project everything. They assume strength, depth, control. You become the man who might say something, but never needs to, and that makes others tread lightly. Not because you threaten them, but because they don't know your boundaries, so they respect them by default. In a world obsessed with expression, restraint is rare, and rare things are valuable. Your silence says, "I don't owe you an explanation." It builds tension, creates space, and keeps your power yours. Because when you're unreadable, you're unshakable. 3. Silence protects your energy. Every time you speak, you spend energy, and not every conversation deserves that cost. Some arguments are traps. Some people don't want clarity. They want chaos. They don't seek truth. They crave attention. When you respond to everything, you exhaust yourself. You give your peace away in small pieces. But silence is how you hold your power. It's how you preserve your mind, your emotional battery. Epictetus once said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." Most people talk to defend what they believe, but Stoics listen, to understand, to grow, or to walk away without saying a word. Not every lie needs correction. Not every insult needs a comeback. Sometimes the most powerful move is no move at all. Because silence is not empty. It's intentional. It's a boundary. You're not ignoring them. You're protecting you. 4. Silence in love and conflict. Some people don't deserve your words. They deserve your absence. In love, in friendship, in family, you will encounter betrayal, disrespect, manipulation wrapped in apology, and your instinct will scream, "Explain yourself, defend your side, Make them understand. But the truth is, if they cared, you wouldn't have to explain. Your silence after disrespect says more than any speech ever could. It says, I loved you, but I won't chase you. I hurt, but I won't beg. I noticed, but I won't lower myself. You don't leave to punish them. You leave to protect you. Let them feel your silence. Let them sit with your absence. Let them wonder what it meant when the loudest person in the room chose to walk away without a sound. Because dignity doesn't scream. It walks. It disappears quietly, but leaves echoes that never fade. 5. Silence is mastery. Over self, silence isn't just what you give to others. It's what you give to yourself. It's the space between stimulus and response, between emotion and action, between pain and peace. A Stoic man doesn't stay silent because he's cold. He stays silent because he's calm, because he's practiced, because he's learned that reacting is easy. But restraint is power. When anger rises, he breathes. When ego flares, he waits. When chaos surrounds him, he listens but does not absorb it. Silence is where he meets himself, where he regathers strength, where he chooses response over reaction, where he becomes untouchable. Not because he avoids pain, but because he no longer obeys it. Seneca said, As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters. And a good life isn't filled with noise. It's filled with clarity, purpose, and self-command. To master silence is to master yourself in a loud world. The quiet man stands out, not because he doesn't feel, but because he chooses when to speak, how to act, and when to walk away. His silence is not weakness, it's not avoidance, it's clarity. He's not trying to prove himself. He already knows who he is, and that terrifies those who don't. So the next time you feel the urge to react, to explain, to defend your worth, pause, breathe, and remember, silence is the language of the strong. If this message resonated with your soul, don't just scroll past. Subscribe, not for noise, but for reminders of who you're becoming. Walk the path with us, the Stoic path, where your peace is power, and your silence is your greatest response.